The yellowback duiker is one of the smallest species of antelope, and they get their name because they have a yellow stripe along their back, and to hide from prey, or predators, they actually will dive into the bushes and stuff like that so they can't see them anymore. That's pretty exciting. I haven't seen that guy in so long. Back to the okapi, we know they are related to the giraffe because they both have very long prehensile tongues, which means they can use their tongues to grab onto their food and bring it closer to their mouths. And an okapi's tongue is actually so long they can lick their own eyeball. And yes, I have seen them do it. Now on the left right there, I do see a black rhino walking in the very back. They might be a little bit hard to see. The black rhino is one of the smaller of the rhino species. Even though they are a small one, they can actually weigh up to 3,000 pounds. Now on the right up here, I do see some bongos. Those are those orange colored antelope with the swirled back horns. The bongo is also known as the ghost of the forest. That is because they are rarely seen in the wild. They use those beautiful swirled back horns of theirs to be able to run very quickly through the bushes in the forest without getting tangled. I don't see any more animals in the Little Ituri Forest, so let's head on into the Sapi River area. A lot of the animals here will like to spend the majority of their time in or near the water, just like the Nile hippopotamus, which hopefully we do get to see. Now on the right hand side, I do see some pink-back pelicans. They're all going to be on that nest right there and on this island. They do get their name from the pink color of the feathers on their back that darken during mating season, kind of like they're blushing. And their wingspan can actually be up to 9 feet wide, which is almost as wide as the canopy above your heads. Now on the left, I do see a lot of those Nile hippos right over there taking a nap. Hippos actually spend the majority of their lives inside the water. They have very sensitive skin, so it gets kind of dried out if they're outside for too long. Now hippos do also prefer to run along the bottom of the river instead of swimming because it uses less energy. Honestly, same. I try to use as little energy as possible when I can. Because hippos spend so much of their lives inside the water, they can actually hold their breath for up to 8 minutes at a time. Now on the left, I do also see some Nile crocodiles over there. Nile crocodiles, on average, are 16 feet in length. They can be up to about 500 pounds. That means they are approximately as long as a giraffe is tall. Does anyone know how to tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? One will see you later, one will see you in a while. Just kidding, guys. The actual way you can tell is by taking a look at their teeth. Crocodiles have a triangular snout, so when their mouths are closed, you can see their top and bottom teeth. Alligators have a more rounded snout, so when their mouths are closed, you can only see their top teeth. Now on the right-hand side over here, I do see a baobab tree, otherwise known as the tree of life. And that is because that tree right there can hold tens of thousands of gallons of water inside its trunk all at once. So the animals in Africa like to use that as a water source when other water sources are scarce. Because the baobab can hold so much water, a lot of people believe it is hollow inside. That's actually a myth. All of that water is stored inside the wood and the bark of those trees. So to gain access to it, the animals will peel off the bark and chew on it to extract that water. We have now entered the savanna. A lot of the animals we will see here are herbivores, meaning they only eat plants, which is one reason why the savanna is also known as the grasslands. Off in the distance, I see an eland, I see some Maasai giraffes, and I see some Hartman's Mountain zebras. We will be able to get a closer look to all of those animals in just a minute. Now, a lot of people question whether zebras are black with white stripes or white with black stripes. The zebras that we can see here have black noses, therefore we can tell they are black with white stripes. If you ever see a zebra with a white or a pinkish nose, they are white with black stripes. Now on the left in that den over there, I do see some African painted dogs taking a nap. I'll round this corner and I'll stop for you so you can see them a little bit better. And they do look very cute and cuddly, however they are the most successful hunters in Africa. They are also known as crepuscular animals, which means they are most active at dawn and dusk or the twilight hours. Now on the left back here, I see some Hartman's Mountain zebras, some sable antelope, and a Maasai giraffe. The sable antelope is actually the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. And that is because when faced with a predator, they like to fight back instead of running away, just like we like to fight for the conservation of our animals. Now, a group of zebras is also called a dazzle. That's because those beautiful stripes of theirs are so dazzling when they're running all together. As for the Maasai giraffes, giraffes are the tallest land animals in the world. They can be up to about 20 feet tall. We can tell these are Maasai because of those jagged, edged, and uneven spots that they have. There is another type of giraffe called the reticulated giraffe. They have those round, smooth spots that you typically see with giraffe prints. Almost all the giraffes that we just passed by are eating. They do actually spend about 16 hours every day eating. And they are also very social animals. They spend so much of their day eating and socializing. They typically only get about 30 minutes of sleep every day. Generally, they do so standing up. It's very rare to see a giraffe sitting or laying down. Now, on the right-hand side is that eland I was talking about. Make sure we keep our inside voices on, please, friends. Elands are the largest antelope in the world. These guys can be about 6 feet tall at the shoulder. Also on the right, those really tiny kind of s'mores colored antelope are springbok. They are actually the third fastest land animals in the world. They can run speeds of 50 to 60 miles per hour. They also do something pretty cool called pronking, where they can jump 6 feet high and 13 feet forward or backward at the same time. Now, those gray colored antelope that kind of look like they had beards were called wildebeests. They can form groups of up to 1.5 million, and during migration season they can travel anywhere from 500 to 1,000 miles. A group of migrating wildebeests is called a confusion. That is because they don't have one true leader. They kind of all just go with the flow, which can be a little bit confusing sometimes. Even though a group of them is called a confusion, though they are pretty intelligent animals, they tend to sleep standing up in staggered rows. That way, if a predator tries to attack while they are sleeping, they can all get away very quickly. Now, on the right-hand side, there is an African elephant. This is going to be the best view we're going to get of them. We're going to see a little bit closer up when I round the corner, but it's not a very good angle. Now, African elephants are the largest land animals in the world. They can weigh up to about 15,000 pounds. We can tell this guy is an African elephant because, well, we're in Africa, but also their ears are kind of shaped like the continent of Africa. You might have seen that he was flapping his ears a little bit. He was not trying to fly away like Dumbo. Elephants actually flap their ears to cool themselves down. By doing that, they can cool off by about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. We are now headed through some red clay pits, and on the right hand side over here I see some elephant tusk marks in that red clay. Elephants love to eat red clay. It's one of their very favorite snacks. It has a lot of vitamins and minerals in it that they don't get in their normal diet. It does look like we're going to be able to see some more African elephants around this corner. You can see just barely their backs over on the left. If you ever do see a herd of elephants, just like this one, it's most likely the females and their offspring. That is because once the males reach about age 15, the females actually kick them out of the main herd. Sometimes, though, the males do form what is called a bachelor herd, or a herd of all the males who have already been kicked out. Oh, and if you look right there, I don't know if we're going to be able to see her later. There is a little baby elephant right there. We might be able to see her when we get closer to the water, but I'm not positive. Now, another thing that elephants will do to help them cool down is they will grab dirt or sand with their trunks and fling it onto their backs. Not only does that help to keep them cool, but it also gets rid of any unwanted insects or pests that are bothering them. If you turn back a little bit, you might be able to see her. She's right in that corner right there. Looks like she is taking a drink of water, the baby. And on the left, there are some greater flamingos, and I do see some babies out right now. If you take a look on those little mounds right there, there's a couple of really tiny fluffy gray birds. Those are greater flamingo babies. They are pretty newly hatched. As you can see, when flamingos are born, they are gray in color, and that's because they get that pink color from the shrimp that they eat. It has a lot of something called beta carotene in it, and for that reason, for about the first 2 years of life, flamingos are that gray color. Now on the left over here, I do see some ostriches, and I see some white rhinos. The white rhinos are hanging out by this mud pit over here. Rhinos love to roll around in mud pits. Not only does it help to keep them cool, but they also use that mud as a natural sunscreen and insect repellent for their sensitive skin. This ostrich seems very interested in our truck. Alright, ostriches are the largest birds in the world. We can tell these ones are female because they don't have, they have gray with white feathers. The male ostriches are actually black with white feathers. Now, the white rhino is one of the larger of the rhino species. They can actually weigh up to 5,000 pounds. Now, on the left, keep your eyes peeled for some cheetahs. They're usually pretty hard to see because of those beautiful spots that they have. They are daytime predators, meaning they hunt during the day, so those spots act as a natural camouflage for them. And I do see one laying down in that back left corner right there. Cheetahs are also the fastest land animals in the world. They can run speeds of 0 to 60 miles per hour in just about 3 seconds. They max out at a speed of about 70 miles per hour. On the left is a Kofi rock formation. Usually a good sign there might be some lions nearby. Lions like to climb to the very top of those Kofi rock formations so they can look over their whole group or pride all at once. I do see the male lion. I'm trying to get the best view. Oh, and the female is out here too. They're both sleeping on these rocks right over here. This is pretty typical lion behavior. They spend 16 to 20 hours every single day sleeping or resting. I wish I could do that. They are also pretty unique predators because they are collaborative hunters, which means they hunt in groups instead of individually. One of the reasons for that is the beautiful mane that the male lion has. It's very thick and very heavy. It can weigh up to about 40 pounds, and it acts as kind of a protective helmet for their head and neck. Now, we did see some ostriches earlier, female ostriches, and on the right-hand side, we can see some of their eggs in the grass over here. Since ostriches are the largest birds in the world, they do have the largest eggs. One ostrich egg is equivalent to about 2 dozen chicken eggs. Not only are they very large, but they're also very strong. They are so strong that an adult human could stand on one without it breaking. Now, as we come to the end of our safari, I do see the warden's post on the left, and it looks like it has been completely overrun with the Nigerian dwarf goats. They are very cute and very tiny, and they are fully grown. They don't get any bigger than that. Because of their small size and their very sweet and nutritious milk, they are very popular dairy goats in West Africa. If you would like to interact a little bit more with those Nigerian dwarf goats, you can head on over to Rafiki's Planet Wash right after this. The entrance is right at the end of the exit of the safari. There is an affection section there where you can pet and brush some of those Nigerian dwarf goats, as well as some other really cool animals like sheep and pigs.